Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's webinar, ShopperFest 101. I'm Rich Bradley, will be one of your hosts tonight to kind of walk you through what ShopperFest is. You may have heard about it on the Facebook page or in a newsletter or seen it if you signed up as an IC Plus member. And you may be wondering, what is it? What's the whole event look like? Why would I go? Where is it held? When is it held? We'll answer all of those questions for you tonight. At the end of the session, if you have questions on something that we haven't answered, feel free to go ahead and place them in the chat. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll go back and we'll answer those, okay? I'm also joined by several veterans and longtime members of the ShopperFest Brigade. Jason Bear from Bear International, Marguerite Turner from Elite CX. Who else do we have here who's been to ShopperFest? Patricia, right?
Laura on here. I saw Laura jump in.
Laura just got here.
Laura Ricketts, okay. Yeah, so some of those folks are going to be tapped a little later too with some questions about their experiences at ShopperFest. So here we go then. Here's our rough rundown for tonight. We're going to talk about what is ShopperFest, who attends, what to expect if you go, why you should go, a little bit about ShopperFest 2021, and once again, why to attend, part 2. On some of my PowerPoint slides, you're going to see photos from previous years, and they're actually in the deck chronologically. So the first ShopperFest happened in 2014, and those are pictures from the very first one, which was held in Orlando, and that was our breakfast with the MSPs, as you can see there. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. And there we go. So what is ShopperFest? Well, it is quite simply the annual MSPA Americas Conference for independent contractors. It is held Friday through Sunday, and it is generally held in June. When we first started, it was in October. A couple years later, I think in 2016, we moved it to June. And it's basically a weekend full of educational sessions, certification courses for those who want to take those, and networking. We also, by the way, give you a commemorative pin for each ShopperFest that you attend. And each one is unique to the marketplace we are. So as I said, we're going chronologically, photo-wise, as we go through the slide deck. And that is the pin, obviously, that we gave out in 2015 when we were in Anaheim. So where is ShopperFest? Well, we've had it twice in Orlando. We've had it in Las Vegas, Anaheim, as you just saw, and Pittsburgh. This year, it was scheduled for Phoenix. Unfortunately, with COVID, it was canceled. Did not make it to Phoenix this year, but we have an exciting destination for next year, which if everybody's good, I'll tell you at the end of the session, but you got to be good. So who attends? Why, there's that lovely lady holding an alligator, which we need to talk about in a second.
Poor Laura.
This, by the way, was back in Orlando. So anyway, who attends? Well, that's the most important part of this, really. You all attend. The independent contractors are our biggest guests for the weekend. And it is put on by the MSPA Board of Directors. Now, why is this really important? Because it really is critical. I think many of you, if you've been shopping a long time, or even if you've just started, you know there are many places on the internet where you can get information about mystery shopping. And the one thing about ShopperFest is all of the speakers, except maybe we might have like an external guest speaker, but all of the industry speakers that you will encounter at ShopperFest are either members of the MSPA Board of Directors, or they are a mystery shopping provider themselves. So in other words, the speakers are not people that say, well, I've heard, or I think that what the MSP does, or I think that this is what the client, it's the actual people, as I say in a friendly way, it's straight from the horse's mouth. The education, the sessions that you attend are led by the leadership of the MSPA Association and or by executives who are at the companies that you actually get projects from. So you're getting firsthand information, very important. Most of the sessions, the speakers are members of the MSPA Board of Directors, or they'll be on a panel and some of the breakout sessions as well. But there are also some experts that come from other companies that you might do projects with. So you might recognize some of their names as well. And they're all very good presenters. So it's really, really important to us that we bring knowledgeable people in, so you know exactly what the industry, how it operates, how you can make the most money out of it, all those types of things. And then finally, we have associate members and guest speakers. So an associate member might be somebody from SASE or Research Metrics. We have, in the last couple years, we've had representation from the MSPA's lobbyist firm in Washington, D.C. to talk about changes in the tax code for you as an independent contractor. So those are the folks that you'll be likely to see at ShopperFest. And it's really important too that you note that a lot of the information, the formal information, as I said, comes from you know, what we call MSPs and company owners, company executives. But there's so much more information that comes from talking to you know, veteran shoppers like Laura Ricketts, who is terrorizing this alligator in the top right of your screen.
Or the other way around.
Michael Dumont, Patricia Tompkins on here. These are folks that have been shopping a very long time, probably longer than they want me to say. And they do have experiences that they add as well to the conference, as well as many other people. So the one thing that I think that I would say, I feel, and I hope that those who are on here who have been to ShopperFest also would say, is that it's a weekend family. And now that we've been doing it for 7 years, to me, it's like the MSPA family summer reunion. Now, you might be on here and you've just started mystery shopping, or you've never been to ShopperFest. And maybe one of the things that you're thinking right off the bat is, gee, that sounds a little intimidating. How would I fit into something like that? You will. We find ways to help you easily and quickly fit in. And I will tell you that before long, really before the end of your first night, you will have made many new friends at the conference. And now you've got the rest of the weekend to share with each other and enjoy the ride as we go through it. So when you register, what's included? Well, obviously your registration and a PIN. I will say, so you understand, the board of directors over the years has felt this is a very important session, our weekend of sessions. And so the board has always wanted to make this affordable to independent contractors. ShopperFest is generally run at a deficit for the MSPA. Why? Because we give you so much that if we charged for everything that we give you or everything that we have to pay, the registration fee would be much, much higher. For instance, in most years, let me see if this is next. Okay, this starts to get into it, so I'll hold that thought. It also includes a Friday night dinner reception and game night. So the Friday night dinner reception, even though we call it a reception, we call it a reception because it's not a formal sit down. You don't want to be sitting down with a room full of strangers. You want to get around and meet people and have fun. So it's more of a reception, but you will get enough food that will be your dinner. So you're basically getting dinner on Friday. The dinner reception is really cool too, because all of our MSPs have tables around the ballroom. And it's a chance for you to walk up and meet people from Bear International or Elite CX or Janssen or CX Orlando. Maybe these are companies that you've been doing projects for as a shopper, and it's kind of cool to meet some of the schedulers and or executives So you know the company name. Now you can put some faces with the people who own and operate the companies. Or the room might be full of companies that, especially if you're new to the industry, you've not even heard of, let alone registered with. So here's your opportunity to find some new companies to look for assignments for, and to make some contacts around the room. And this goes on for usually about an hour and a half on Friday night. And then one thing about ShopperFest that I think some of our attendees in the past can say is that we love to have you come in and educate, but we also love to have fun. And so we start off Friday night after the reception with what we've called MSPA game night. And we've played some trivia, we played some bingo, but it's kind of a low key way to sort of ice break into the weekend where you have an opportunity to start to make some friends and get to know some people. And we try to help facilitate that so that when you come in on Saturday, which is our power pack day of education, when you walk into that room on Saturday, you don't feel intimidated like, oh, gee, I don't know where to sit. I don't know anybody in here. You will definitely know some people after you have gone through game night and the reception on Friday, and you'll definitely have some friendly faces that you can join for the Saturday sessions. It also includes, come on, there we go, Saturday and Sundays general sessions and breakouts. I'm going to, in just a second, I'm going to share with you a copy of last year's program from the ShopperFest in Pittsburgh to give you a very specific look at the types of sessions, the types of topics that we discussed. So all those sessions and the breakout sessions. So the general sessions are where everybody's in the room together. And then there are parts of the day where we break out into separate rooms where you can pick and choose which session you want to go to. Now, we typically do those breakout sessions based on a track. And the two tracks are a track for people who are new to the industry and for people who have been in the industry for a fairly long time. And, you know, so some of the things that if you've been shopping for years, you might look at a new track as, well, I already know that. That'd be kind of a waste of my time to sit there. So we try to give some more advanced topics there. On the flip side, if you're new to the industry, and if we only did those advanced topics, we might lose you in that. You might say, I'm not even sure what they're talking about yet. But the cool thing is that we don't try to anticipate which track is right for you. You can go to sessions in either track. So you can go into the new shopper track, you can go into the veteran shopper, you decide. And you might want a checkerboard. You might go, I'm a new shopper. I want to do the first new shopper session and the third new shopper session. But the middle session, I'd rather go to the what we call the veteran track. That's okay. It's your conference. You can go wherever you want. Wherever you feel that you're going to get the most value from, that's where you should go. So that's all included as part of your registration. And again, one of the things that sort of distinguishes our conference from some of the others that try to put on conferences as well is that we include lunch and breaks during the day, coffee breaks with food and beverage. Our lunches, I think there are some people who have been to other shopper conferences besides ShopperFest, and I think I can safely say, and hopefully they'll back me up, that the food and beverage that we pick for our people is top shelf. We want you to come in and have a good time. We want you to eat well. We want you to make friends. We want you to learn some things, and we want you to leave with memories. And we want it to be perfect. It may not be perfect for all of you. There might be some places where you go, I wish you did this or that. I'm sorry if that happens. That's our intention, is that everybody walks away saying that was just out of this world, fantastic. What I can promise you is that that's what we strive for each weekend. We really, really put a lot of thought into, as a group, how do we make this the most educational, entertaining, and valuable weekend for people in this industry. So the food is part of that process. And usually when we can, we try to get a hotel that provides a hot breakfast for you as well. Sometimes, depending on the market we go to, that's not possible. There's just not a hotel that will offer that in a price range that we know is in your budget. And most years we are able to pull that off. And I will tell you that the property that we are looking at for 2021 will include a hot breakfast as well. So really, the only thing that you might have to pay for, in addition to your registration once you get to the hotel, and your room, of course, might be a Saturday night meal. And typically on Saturday night, we do an off-site event. Now, it's an optional event, so it does cost more. We usually try to keep it in the $50 to $60 range, including transportation. Last year, as you'll see in an upcoming picture, when we were in Pittsburgh, if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, the downtown area is very beautiful. The three rivers, the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio are right there. The Allegheny and the Monongahela come together at the point to form the Ohio. And there are cruise ships that go up and down the rivers and serve dinner. And that was our offsite event last year. So we're always, when we were in Dallas, we took the group to a rodeo in Fort Worth. When we were in Las Vegas, there was a Rat Pack type of show that people went to. In Anaheim, we went to the Pirates Dinner Theater. And if I go back here, in one of our stops in Orlando, we went to Gatorland, where we had the park to ourselves to have a evening dinner with the gators, and you could pet the gators and you could handle snakes. So, I get it, it's not for everybody, but you're the person that stands back like me and takes the pictures. But if you're brave, like Mrs. Ricketts here, and wanted to hold an alligator, you can do that as well. So we try to find something wherever the ShopperFest weekend is going to be that's very local to that town, so that you have that sort of experience. Like I said, maybe some of you have never been to Texas. And so if you're going to come to ShopperFest in Dallas, we want to take you to a rodeo, because that's kind of a big thing, obviously, in Texas. We don't want to just like go someplace for dinner. Pittsburgh, again, the three rivers are beautiful. We wanted to put together an evening dinner cruise for those who wanted to go to really enjoy one of the best things that Pittsburgh has to offer. Now, again, it's an optional event. You would sign up for that separately. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too, because I would say about half of the people who go to ShopperFest do the optional event, and about half of them stay back at the hotel and either eat at the hotel or with their friends, old friends, new friends, might take an Uber someplace else to have dinner on their own. Again, it's your weekend. We want to make it perfect for you, so we give you all these options.
I have been to all of them, and very happy that I have. It's always an amazing experience. I must confess, though, that the day after, I am usually kind of sad, because I get excited about the event, and I have such a great time with everyone, meeting shoppers that I have never met before, maybe never spoken to before, maybe we have met via email, and then seeing a lot of dear friends that I've known from my very first ShopperFest. So afterwards, yeah, I'm a little melancholy that it's over and can't wait for the next one.
This is our program from last summer when we were in Pittsburgh. And I'm going to enlarge this so you can get a closer look at what we have. So just hold on here. Hopefully you all can see that much better now. Yeah, don't want to go that far. Okay, so this was last year, Friday, June 28th. We ran some certification courses in the afternoon. You could see we had Property Management 1, Professional Report Writing, and Video Shopping 1. Now, again, your certification courses, those are extra. Take them if you want. It's the same content that you can take through Night Owl, the learning management system online that we have, right? It's the same content, the same curriculum. We make sure that you have access to the curriculum in advance. And so basically, these are not to teach you everything to know about property management in an hour and a half. What they are is in-person kind of review courses, and then you can take the exam on the spot. So if you look at that Property Management 1 course, Jane would have gone through the education materials that were already available online. She would have answered any questions that anybody has. And then immediately afterwards, people could take the property management exam. You don't pay twice. So it doesn't cost you any more to take the certification course in person. The advantage is that you get an in-person review and the opportunity to ask questions before you take the exam. But it's the same content that you could take tomorrow if you wanted to. just with the review session. And so again, that's optional. Then you could see from 7:30 to 9, we did our opening night networking reception, followed by 2 hours of game night with bingo and trivia. And then hopefully most of you went to bed, because we started at 8:30 the next morning. And the first thing we start with is an address by the MSPA America's board president. So last year it was Charles Stiles. This year it's Sam Hersey. You'll see a little bit of Charles's presentation here in just a few minutes. But, you know, if you're an IC Plus member, you are a member of MSPA Americas. You are represented by the MSPA president just as much as a company like Bear International or Elite CX or CX Orlando is. And so we make it a priority that before we even get into any education sessions, that you get to hear from your president. And he talks about the association. He gives you a briefing on what's going on with MSPA. A lot of times he talks about all of your benefits to make sure that you're aware of them all and that you're taking advantage of them. So that's how the Saturday kicks off. Afterwards, you can see what our lineup was like the rest of that morning. We had a roundtable discussion, Be This Shopper, Not That Shopper. And in that session, we had representatives from MSPs talking about these are the things we look for in a good shopper, and these are the things that might cause a red flag to go up, and such we might look at another shopper before we ever get to you. And so these are important to know. These are good things to know, because you might be doing something that is maybe making you not the go-to person for a scheduler, and you don't even realize it. This was a great session to sort of outline to people, this is what, as an MSP, our schedulers are looking for, and these are things that make them feel a little uncomfortable calling you for an assignment. Now, I do want to say this is a little confusing, so I want to make this kind of real simple. Last year, we experimented with something new where we called this the traditional track. So this is the type of education we've always done at ShopperFest. But thanks to Miss Marguerite Turner here and her brilliant ideas, we came up with a separate track of video shopping. Now, some of you are interested in video shopping. And so we did a separate track of video shopping. So when you signed up for ShopperFest, you could either take the traditional track, which is mostly what I'm going to talk about tonight, or you could do nothing but take mostly video shops for the weekend. And we would recommend that for people who are already have been shoppers and want to get into video shopping, or if you just want to be a straight video shopper and you're still kind of new to it, that's okay too. But you also want to be sort of making sure that you understand how the basics of video shopping work. Of mystery shopping work, because as we always say, in some ways, video shopping is mystery shopping with a video layer over top. So you need to understand the basics of mystery shopping. You can go back and forth between the sessions, but I do think there were some requirements, weren't there, Marguerite, that if you wanted to claim, completion of the video shopping track at ShopperFest, you had to take so many of the video sessions. Was it like 6 of 8 or something like that?
I believe that's right.
Yeah, but you did have a little flexibility to come over and take one of the other sessions as well. So you can see at 9 to 9:40, there's the session I talked about the Be This Shopper, Not That Shopper. And also on the video track, there was Be This Video Shopper, Not That Video Shopper. So same concept, just geared towards video shoppers in a different room. That was followed by Ask the Attorney, Shopper Issues, Questions and Answers. So again, we had Patrick Hulra from the MSPA's lobbying law firm in Washington come in and talk about changes in the tax code to make sure that you were aware of these changes and that you could get, as much benefit out of your tax savings as possible. So that was in the traditional room, and next door in the video room, they were running sessions on meeting company and client expectations as a video shopper. At 10:30 to 11:10, we did a session called War Stories and Best Practices in the traditional room. That was kind of like some of the challenges that shoppers faced and some of the challenges even that MSPs face, and how we were able to find creative solutions to salvaging the shop when things kind of go awry. Meanwhile, across the hall in the video track, they were doing video with specialty shops. At 11:15 to 12, the main room had a service provider panel roundtable on what do you want to know? And this is one of the sessions, it's the only session that we've had every year at ShopperFest, because we allocate basically 45 minutes for anyone in the room to stand up and ask a question. Now think about the benefit of that. If you've been a mystery shopper for a while, there might have been some things on your mind for years that you didn't understand. Why do they do this? Or, why does it work this way? Or maybe you're new to the industry and you have the same type of question. Why does it go this way? Why does this happen? Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to answer yes or no and then write a comment afterwards saying, explain your answer? There's a reason for that. In the mystery shopping world, nothing is accidental. Everything is intentional. Everything is deliberate. And so this is sort of the forum where if you've got that burning question, you can raise your hand and we come over with a microphone and you can ask a panel of company owners or executives up there who will answer that question. No place else can you do something like that. And Marguerite, Jason, they've both been on that panel and really, I think, imparted some really valuable information. Dan has as well. So I really love that session. Next door, they were still doing the video and specialty shops. And then everybody came back together for lunch at 12:30 to 1:45. So we have lunch, and it's lunch, as you can see, with the service providers. So it's not just you having lunch on your own. The board of directors and members of the different companies who are represented there, they spread out through the room and they sit at individual tables. Now, once in a while, it turns out that we've got more people than we've got MSP representatives in the room. And so there might be a table or two that ends up not with a representative. But you won't find the MSPs all sitting at the same table where it's like, well, here's the company owners and here's the shoppers. No, the company owners and executives circulate the room. They look for an open seat at a table of attendees and they sit. And again, you can have sort of that same conversation of why does this work this way or how does this happen? But it's a one-on-one conversation with you and your table mates. We also, at that time, do the Shopper's Choice Awards and door prizes. Now, the Shopper's Choice Awards, if you're not familiar with, if you're an IC Plus member, you're going to get an email about probably next week, at the beginning of next week. The Shopper's Choice Awards are one of the 2 awards that MSPA gives out to its member companies. Shopper's Choice is literally what it sounds like. It is the top 5 companies that shoppers enjoy working for or enjoy taking assignments for. So you'll get a ballot. Now you have to be an IC Pro. It's kind of like the Academy Awards, right? You got to be in the Academy to vote. If you're just a basic subscriber member, that's not one of the benefits. But if you are a paid IC Plus member, you'll get a ballot, and it's a very simple ballot. It will say list the 5 companies, or if you're not doing 5, list as many as you can, but the 5 companies that you really enjoy taking assignments for. There's no criteria they have to meet other than the fact that you like doing things for them. You like taking assignments from them. So you list those, we tabulate those, and in no particular order. It's not a number one, number 2. These are the top 5, but we award that award to those 5 top vote getting companies at the conference. And in fact, we have attendees, we have independent contractor shoppers that we actually have come to the podium and read the winners, because you as the shopper, you're the one that's awarding the award. So you get to call out who the winner is and take a picture with the winners and present them their award. So the Shopper's Choice Awards are presented there. And then finally, door prizes, which sounds like, okay, so whatever. No, we have literally hundreds of dollars of door prizes that we give out at the 2 lunch sessions. They're almost always gift cards, but sometimes they're actually gifts. We've given away video cameras. We've given away hotel stays. We've given away other merchandise. But by and large, they're usually anywhere from $10 to $50 to $100 gift cards to restaurants or to Target or places like that. And we don't give away like 5. We give away, Jason, Marguerite, Dan, I would say we probably give away like 35 or 40 at each session. you
They
really
both
have to
tip
be
a lot.
the ugly bad penny to walk away from ShopperFest and not have won something for the weekend. So if that's you, I don't want to go to the casino with you. But most of you will probably win something through the weekend. And that happens at the 2 lunches. Okay, moving through here. So then after lunch is when we go into those breakout sessions I was telling you about. So you can see over here that we have 3 tracks. We have the new track, the veteran track, and then of course we have the video track. Under the new track, you can see what the 3 sessions were there. The organized, successful mystery shopping professional starter kit, which basically was a session run by Dan and Susie Ogle that if you were just starting out, basically was kind of telling you, okay, here are the things you want to have. Here's how you want to set up your home office if you have one. Here's how you want to track your mileage. Here's the apps that you should be using to make life easier for you. That was followed by the believability factor, a session that I ran, which was essentially if you're going to do a mystery shop and you're pretending to just be a shopper, what are the things that could tip off the store or the car dealership or whoever that you're a shopper? So how do you play the part? You're all actors and actresses when you go out as mystery shoppers. You're out playing a part. How do you do that and make sure that you're believable? And then the last session was they wrote what? Writing that closes doors on shoppers. And essentially, this was Randy Hardiman, who at 360 Intel does a great job with a bunch of webinars for us. You may have even been on one of her recent ones. She's a tremendous asset to the association for all of us. And she was doing a session on these are like some real reports that came into me. And guys, there's no way I can pass this on to the client. So, you know, you may not even realize that this is a mistake, but let's look at somebody's third-party work and see why that does not work as a report. So it was a great track there. Then we had our veteran track. And so we had one that was all about route shopping. Some of you have heard about route shopping. So what's route shopping? Well, that's when you string together a bunch of shops and you take a trip. Your trip might be around town for the day. Your trip might be like, you know, Laura Ricketts or Michael Dumont on here. They can go for weeks at a time, sort of shopping their way through the country. So how do you become a route shopper? Like, what's that like? How does that come together? Marguerite at Elite CX, they do a lot of routes with their shoppers. And so David, who also works for Elite CX, ran a session on this is how you put it together, and this is what we're looking for in route shoppers. That was followed up by hitting send. Now what happens to my report? So you guys, you do your mystery shop report, you send it to the company. Now what happens with it? Like, because you don't really, unless there's something wrong with it, you never hear anything more about it. You just get paid afterwards. But what happens behind the curtain once you hit send? What happens when it hits the company, and what does the client do with it? That kind of thing. And then finally, we had another tax session by Patrick Holbrook on are you taking your full tax deductions? Are you keeping as much money or getting as much money back from the government as you're legally entitled to? So again, if you're a new shopper, you could have gone to the organized, successful mystery shopping starter kit. You could have gone to the believability factor. And then instead of going to the they wrote what, you say, I want to know about the tax stuff. You can do that. You don't have to stay in your vertical. You can checkerboard through. Then over on the mystery video shopping side, they were running sessions on specifically, Marguerite had a session on video shopping new homes and property management companies, followed by advanced route shopping for video shoppers, and then completing your shops with mobile phone or by using glasses that have cameras in it. So again, there's 9 different education modules there, and you're able to take a look at that based on what makes sense for you. Okay, so then coming back up here, too much. Okay, so later in the afternoon, then we got back together again, and everybody other than the video shoppers, the rest of the traditional track, they were looking at cruises, casinos, and resorts, landing the big gigs. Like, you know, I know many of you have, I hear all the time, how do I get a casino? How do I get a mystery shop for a cruise ship? Like, how does that happen? Who does those? Well, we can't always tell you who does it, but I can tell you that obviously the people who spoke to it have some experience in it, whether they're doing it now or have done it in the past. And they were sharing basically how that kind of works. One of the, I think, misconceptions about sort of those glamour shops is that, they're just awesome. And to some extent they are. They are also a buttload of work. And a lot of times some shoppers were going, oh, I didn't realize you have to do all that. It sounds good, but maybe that's really not for me. That I don't want to put that much time into it. That would ruin the cruise. That would ruin my hotel stay. You wouldn't know that if you weren't in that session. Meanwhile, over in video, they were using overview of various cameras and how to operate them. So again, for those people who want to be the best video shopper they can be, they were going through a session about different types of cameras and how to use them. And then finally at 4:30 to 4:50, back in the traditional room, we were given 10 takeaways and a to-do list for success. And over in the video room, they were doing a session on making shops count. Top takeaways for success from the video shopping world. As you can see, we broke at 5 o'clock. Those people who wanted to do the optional event were able to take the dinner cruise. It was $65. And if not, again, you can spend Saturday night however you want to spend it. Sunday morning, Sunday is a half day. It's actually more like a 60%, 70% day. We don't go a full day, but we go to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In the morning from 9 to 12, we offer more certification courses. So if you're not taking certifications, you can sleep in, you can go to the pool, you can use the hotel amenities. If you're taking certifications, you'll see which ones are available at what time. But the last event starts at 12 o'clock, and that's for everybody, and that's the closing luncheon. So the cool thing with the closing luncheon is, if you happen to take a certification course and passed it this weekend, even if you just took it and passed it Sunday morning, you will be told that at the lunch, and you will also get to come up on the stage, receive a certificate in person. We take your picture. You can see, here's a picture down here. Now, one thing with video 2, this is really important. The association offers video 1 and video 2. Video 1 is a course that can be taken online, but video 2 is only available at ShopperFest. And the reason is, it is what you would call a practical class, meaning that it's not as much about theory like video 1 and many of our other courses are. It's about hands-on holding the equipment, using the equipment, and demonstrating proficiency in that. So video shopping 2 is only offered at ShopperFest for that reason. But the cool thing is, again, if you want to do video shopping, you have 4 to 5 experienced video shoppers, not even video shoppers, companies, executives from companies that do video shopping. They're telling you how to do this. They're instructing you. They're showing you what's good, what's bad, what tips they have. You can't get that anywhere else. And that's why, again, you can't really duplicate that course online. That's just a very personal course there. And so we give the certification presentations, more door prizes, and then we kind of wrap up, and that's the weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. I mean, I think it's very thorough in terms of everything you've shared so far. From my experiences, it's a great event. It's a lot of fun to get the opportunity to meet you folks, for you all to be able to spend some time with us, business owners and executives within the organizations. Again, I think Rich talked about it. It's about what you get out of it. We're there and we're in the background, but it's about you. It's about what value you see, how much you want to interact, what type of questions you want to engage with. But yeah, overall, I mean, highly, highly recommended. Of course, we do understand that there's a financial impact in doing this, but we hope you foresee and understand that it's minimal for the learning and education that you will receive. The one thing that we always hear is that evaluators are typically picking up a mystery shop either at the airport on their way to the facility, when they drive there, or even in that city or state that they're in. So that's something we certainly recommend you look at as well. But yeah, Rich, again, very well put on event on behalf of the MSPA. I've been honored to now attend, I think, for all except for the first one, if my memory serves me correct. And Bear International is always present, and very much enjoy being there. So we very much hope to see everyone 2020, considering and hoping for the best with the opportunity at hand.
Thanks, Jason. I think you have made them all, and your mom and dad, who are the founders of your company, were at the first one. So Bear International has been a supporter really from day one, and it's well appreciated.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to share a couple testimonials from you. These are actual shoppers from last year.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Donahue. I've been a mystery shopper for about a year. This is my second Shoppers Fest. I had an awesome time last year. I was new and didn't really know where to start, but the classes were wonderful. Showed you where to go in the right direction, the companies to sign up with. So I had to come back this year, so I could get more information. I want to get into video, shopping, and so it's just awesome. So I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to coming back next year.
I'm Randy Hardiman from 360 Intel, formerly Goodwin Hospitality. This is our second year sponsoring the event. It's a great event. We really appreciate the shoppers who invest their time into coming to this event. And it's a great way to put faces to names. So we really appreciate it. It's a great time to mingle with other providers. And overall, it's just a great event. So happy to be a part of it, and we'll continue to be a part of it.
Hi everybody, my name is Stacy Valentine. I'm a first-time attendee at ShopperFest 2019. Woohoo! And I've been a mystery shopper for about 5 years, and I joined mystery shopping so that I can help supplement my daughter's income in private school. And this has been such an amazing experience that I can really see this as a second career. I've made some lifelong friends, and I've learned so many different skills that you really can't learn anywhere else. You're your own boss, you're an entrepreneur, and it's really been a great experience for me. I'm here this weekend to really kind of just expand my horizons and kind of put faces to all the different companies that have been so generous with me in booking shops. And this weekend I hope to be video certified so that I can kind of step it up. And this is going to be my retirement career. I'm going to be in my 90s, shuffling into all these stores and making sure that people are on their game with their customer service. Thank you, ShopperFest, for a great time. Woohoo!
The providers to meet shoppers face to face and be able to tell them what we can provide to them, as well as them tell us what they can provide to us. We love coming to this wonderful event every year and being able to speak candidly to shoppers about their concerns, as well as what they're excited about, and be able to just get them excited to work for all of these companies in this industry.
So Dan, your turn. What am I missing here?
I think the biggest thing is that it is really a healthy mix of fun with education and networking. I mean, really, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but there's also a lot of fun. It's really a good balance, and it's really kind of a retreat, kind of like more of like a retreat than a vacation or like an educational weekend. It's kind of like a good mix, and so it's a really unique experience. A lot of conferences are kind of one or the other. It's like all fun and no real work or no real learning, or it's just all 24/7, just networking, going booth to booth, or there's no really downtime. So I think I can attest to, or for the people who have been before, but it's really just it's a great time for everybody. There's something for everybody. You will learn something new, and you'll probably pick up a skill or two or more that you didn't have before you came.
Yes.
Okay, so just a couple people here. There's Jane Edwards at the time was from Ipsos. Now she's with Grove Partnerships. There's Angela Magasco from MarketView, the owner of MarketView. Let me play this and get started. I'll try to point some people out as it goes. Okay, there's Paul Ryan, the owner of Secret Shopper. There's Mike Mershimer from IntelliShop. There's Sam Hersey, the current MSBA president from the Consumer Insight. I believe that might be Laura that he's talking to there, Laura Ricketts. So again, this is an opportunity to go around, meet people at different companies, and see they got the beverages out there. Laura Tyson, I think that was you I just saw there. Doug Rector from Northwest Loss Prevention just walked past.
That's some of the Bear colleagues right there.
Mm-hmm. Bear staff. So again, it's really important too that you'll get formal education, but that also you have the opportunity to network with other shoppers. So here we are playing trivia during game night, and it's team trivia. So you get to play with the people at your table, and that's where you'll get to know some folks right off the bat. This is Charles Stiles doing the opening session that we talked about the next morning.
This is the biggest ShopperFest conference we have. Is that right, Sarah? 110 is the largest gathering past so far. So you know what? Give yourselves a big hand for getting that.
This was one of Marguerite's sessions.
Russell Wood and Donna Hordabaugh.
That's kind of what it looks like. Unfortunately, I don't have any video from the boat trip, which was a lot of fun. But that's kind of what the sessions look like. Okay, I have a couple wrap up things here, and then we'll let you all have your night back. Laura Ricketts, you I believe are one of the only people who has been to every ShopperFest. Is that correct?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't been to everyone.
You have?
I've not.
Oh, boo.
Sorry.
Yeah, been to a lot for sure, though. So, Laura, what are your thoughts? I mean, why, for God's sake, do you keep coming back year after year? Even when we throw an alligator on you.
Yeah, seriously. After the alligator thing, I should have never returned. But honestly, like Marguerite said, it's something to look forward to. I spend a lot of time on the road, and everybody knows that mystery shopping can be lonely sometimes. And this is a wonderful way to reconnect. I sort of feel like it's an opportunity to recharge my batteries. I always leave ShopperFest feeling refreshed and ready to just go out and take on the world. And sure, 500 shops seems like a great idea, that kind of thing. I have never been to ShopperFest yet where I haven't learned something. You talked about the veteran shoppers and all that, but just a quick story. One of the shopper conferences that I went to early on, and I think it was an MSPA back in the day shop conference, I was talking to a brand new shopper. She had been shopping three months, and I said something about that my scanner back in the day was so slow that Tibetan monks could carve it faster. And she looked at me. She goes, "Why don't you just take a picture of it?" And I went, "Well, yeah, I would have done that if I had known that." So I mean, the point is, you can learn from anybody, and that's what is so wonderful about ShopperFest is that we all have the real opportunity to exchange. Nobody's more experienced or less experienced. We're just different experienced, and it truly is an opportunity to be able to just share those experiences and to walk away as better friends, better people, and better evaluators. So I'd have to be on a heart-lung machine to not make it. So I'm planning to go wherever it is you're going. Just leave the alligators, please.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you every year, and we do know Patricia's been there a lot. I know Laura Tyson's been to a few, traveling all the way down from Toronto. It's really kind of cool to see people coming back year after year. It does feel like a family reunion, and the cool thing is, it's like we have new relatives every time that come join the family, and it just gets bigger and bigger. Well, I'm going to wrap up with a couple things here. So, why to attend? You're getting education directly from the source. You're going to network with company owners and executives. And just as importantly, you're going to network with other independent contractors like Laura, like Patricia, like some of the other folks that have been in this industry for a while, or maybe like you, if you're new and trying to figure it out themselves, and you can help each other get there. Certifications on site, so you have the opportunity to have that on-site review, and hopefully it's a lot of fun. We really try to balance giving you great value in terms of education and networking and connections with having a really good time while you're there with us. So ShopperFest 2021, the destination has been selected. Oh, wait a second. Before I can get there, as we have done in the past, we'll be doing a 20% discount for advanced registrations in December. It's not open yet, but you will get notice on both the Facebook pages, and there will be a mail out when it is open for sale yet. It is not quite yet, probably in a week. But finally, there we go. Hopefully we'll see you all in Houston. The hotel, there are 2 hotels under consideration right now. They have very good rates. I believe they're a $99 rate, which is unheard of these days. And it's also right at the airport, so there's a free airport shuttle. So breakfast is included. They're both very nice properties. We haven't selected exactly which of the 2 yet, but it will be at the Houston airport. And the date, I can't tell you yet, not because I'm holding out, but because it depends on which hotel we go to. But it will be a weekend in June, and it will not be Father's Day weekend. So it'll be one of the other 3 weekends, probably either the 2nd or the 4th weekend. But that will be in Houston next summer. So that is all that I have. Before we get to any questions that you might have, and so I'll just sort of scroll down, and I might toss some of them to some of the other folks here to answer. I think the first question that that I saw on here was, are there going to be any other new certifications this year offered on site, from Loretta? And the answer to that is probably. Some of the ones that are the most popular are the core courses, the ethics course, the writing course. Those are almost always available. So especially if you want to get a review on the writing before you take the exam, or if you want to get a review on all the elements of the professional responsibility course, those, because they're core courses, are always offered. But we do try to mix up the other courses. Also Video 1 and Video 2, of course, are always offered. But there have been Jane Edwards and the Education Committee have done a fabulous job this year while we've been battling COVID, going to work and creating some new course content. And so I am sure that there will be some new ones next summer. Don't know what they are yet. We're a little far out to actually pick those, but I am sure that there will definitely be some new courses there. Jason had to jump off, but he said he got a question on cost. When we put out the announcement, that's what we'll talk about as part of the announcement. It'll be the dates and the actual cost and the actual hotel. I do want to say, I started to mention before, the cost to attend, as we said, is underwritten in part by MSPA Americas, because if any of you know the hotel world at all, the food that we give you, the quantity of food through the weekend that is included, that costs more per person than your registration. And that's, of course, not all that we have to do. We've got collateral things we have to do, and we've got AV costs, which are very expensive. So if we actually charged you, and we don't do this to make money, obviously, but if we even tried to do it to break even, and we charged you what sort of the pro rata amount would be, it would probably be around somewhere between $230 to about $280. But we know if we put it at that level, a lot of you might not be able to afford that, because you still have to pay your hotel room, you still have to fly to the city. And so we try to keep it at an affordable price point for the hotel. $99 is the absolute cheapest we've ever gotten. And that's because it's COVID and hotels are willing to play, let's make a deal. But so we've got a great hotel rate. It's a great hotel itself, either one, whichever one we go to. And it does have the breakfast and all, and it does have the on-site shuttle. So that's a good deal. And we'll be keeping the registration affordable as well, because again, we understand. We understand it's an investment on your part. So we do underwrite part of that just to keep it affordable for you. And we'll get that out soon as well this year. Don't expect that to vary much, if at all, once we make that announcement. In the Houston airport, we also too, like sometimes people say, well, why don't you go to this market? We might like the market, but we also take into consideration how difficult or easy it is to get into the market for you guys. So for instance, let's talk about St. Louis for a second. I have nothing against St. Louis. I love St. Louis. I've been to St. Louis many times, beautiful city. St. Louis has very limited flights into it. And so unless you're coming from Kansas City or Chicago, it's usually a pretty expensive airport to get to. Does not have a lot of service from discount airlines. So we try to pick cities like Orlando, Las Vegas, Dallas, that are relatively inexpensive to get to, or at least there are some cheap flights if you book far enough advance, or if you fly Frontier or Spirit to keep your costs down. So Houston is one of those markets. There's a lot of Spirit flights. There's Frontier. As somebody pointed out on there, I think Dan did, it's a United hub. So that was part of the decision making in going to Houston this year. And at the airport, since there are two airports, Bush and Hobby, both hotels would be at the Bush airport, which is the bigger, more popular one that has more flights to it. The dates for Houston, James is asking, we don't know yet. Again, it depends on the hotel, but between the two hotels, it'll be either the second weekend in June or the last weekend in June. And when we make the announcement on the hotel, that will be confirmed. So you'll know that soon. Jean Marie asks if it will be recorded. No, we don't record ShopperFest. And that's out of respect to you guys. Obviously, for those who make the journey, it's an expense. You're buying a flight, you're buying a hotel room, you're paying your registration. And for us to then even to sell it at, $100 or $200, it's kind of unfair to the people who put the money out to get there. So we don't record the ShopperFest sessions. You have to be there to actually experience them. Any virtual shopper COVID? No. Again, there's no plans for that, at least as of today. Will there be any COVID restrictions, requirements? Great question. Don't know. Depends on how things look next summer. I'm hearing very optimistic things in terms of the expectation from other companies. I'm talking about big retail companies and what their expectations are for next summer. And there's a lot of hope, and I think based on some science, that by the time we get to the summer, we could be approaching either widespread herd immunity and or widespread vaccination. Who knows? But we obviously will create a safe environment either way. There was some thought about doing a mini ShopperFest this fall for those who wanted to partake. And all the places we looked at had major social distancing opportunities, all had, all the safety precautions in terms of, plexiglass for the buffets and minimum handling of things. We were looking at a Hilton property, which has an extensive cleanliness protocol that they run through for rooms and things like that. So in the event that COVID is still a major factor, that has been taken into consideration with the last two hotels that we're down to looking at. And if it makes sense for us at the time to implement, masks and social distancing, that sort of thing, we will. We definitely want to have a safe environment where people feel comfortable being there. And if we're beyond that at that stage, hallelujah, what a great time that would be. Laura has asked me to ask if there are any other Canadians on the call tonight. I guess if you are a Canadian, if you could unmute and say hello. All right. Yep, I'm not seeing any. Sorry, Laura. Yeah, so again, as far as a Zoom event, a couple questions about that. Not currently in the cards. That doesn't mean that the answer is no. It's not my decision anyway. That would be a board decision, but right now, the board is looking at both of their conferences, the ShopperFest conference and the one that they do for the company owners and executives separately. they're looking at both of those as being exclusively an on-site event. Again, that could change. Nothing's written in stone, and it's not my decision. It would be the board decision. But I suppose they would probably look at that in March, April-ish, and see, how the landscape looks and make a final determination then.
Awesome.
So I want to thank you all for giving a good hour and 15 minutes of your time tonight. I hope that if you've been to ShopperFest, this was a great nostalgic event for you to relive some past memories. And if you haven't been, I hope you got some insight as to why we really love this event, and we would love to see all of you there and join us not only in 2021, but for years to come. It really is one of my favorite things about MSPA is this little family that always, always seems to expand, and we have some good laughter and some good times. And I love it when people are walking away with useful things that gets them more assignments, more projects, better ways to do things, more ways to make money and to do it more cost effectively. That's what it's really all about. It's about touching base with our community here as a whole and giving people some real good return on their investment in the ShopperFest. Certainly, if you have any other questions, we'll be running probably at least one more of these before the event next summer, probably late spring. The discount, though, the advanced registration discount will only be going on in December, though, and it'll start just as soon as we nail that hotel down, and we'll send you some information out on that. In closing, I will turn it over to Marguerite, who is our queen of video at ShopperFest. Marguerite, any other closing thoughts for the group?
The networking that you will get from this event is worth every penny. You will meet new company executives that you've maybe never worked with, and you will get more jobs. You will be remembered by the people that you meet. If you meet some schedulers, they'll remember you. And I can tell you, because some of my best go-to shoppers have been, those relationships have been formed at a ShopperFest. So it is worth every penny.
Great. Well, thank you again, everybody. We'll be back in touch with you. I think there's a couple more webinars that are on the schedule in December and January. So just keep watching the Facebook pages for those. And in the meantime, hope you all have a great Christmas or a great Hanukkah or a holiday, however you celebrate. A much better New Year. And we'll look forward to seeing you either online on one of these sessions or hopefully in person in Houston next June. So good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Stay safe, everyone.